How to deal with self-doubt. Self-doubt is one of those things that sneaks up on you quietly. It sits in the background. It doesn't really announce itself. It just starts whispering. These little thoughts at first. Are you sure you can do this? Who do you think you are? And the more you listen, the louder it gets. In this video, you'll learn what self-doubt actually is, and why it shows up when you're trying to grow, and how your brain mistakes fear for protection, and some practical things you can do to break this cycle. We'll talk about perfectionism, comparison, fear of failure, and the voice in your head that sounds like you, but isn't actually you. Self-doubt starts small. You question a choice, a skill, an idea, but then it spreads. Soon you're second guessing everything. Your worth, your relationships, your dreams. You replay conversations, mistakes, awkward moments over and over and over again. You start to believe that everybody else has it figured out, except for you. That's the thing about self-doubt. It's a liar with perfect timing. It shows up right when you're trying to grow, right when you're stepping into something new, right when you're trying to achieve something, to get somewhere, to progress in life, to progress in love. It can be the reason you are stuck, but it never really attacks you when you are stuck. It likes to attack when you're moving forward, or at least trying to. And that's how you know that it isn't the truth. It's resistance. Because every time you change, your brain wants safety. It hunts for it. And growth isn't safe. It's uncertain, it's unpredictable, uncomfortable. So your mind does what it knows best. It tries to protect you. Maybe don't do that. You might fail. You might look stupid. You might get hurt again. But that's not weakness. That's your survival instinct. Just being a bit misdirected. When I look back on the moments where I doubted myself the most, those were always moments right before something important. Right before that decision that mattered a lot. Right before the leap I was scared to take. Self-doubt sensed change coming and panicked. You know that feeling when you start something new, a project, a job, a relationship, and suddenly you're hyper aware of all of your flaws. That's self-doubt trying to keep you small. It says stay where it's safe. Stay where you know how to fail. Because at least there, the failure is familiar. But the truth is, every version of you has doubted the next version. Every time. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to be scared. What if I fall? Oh, but my darling, what if you fly? That's what growth feels like. There's a line I remind myself of often. Confidence isn't the absence of self-doubt. It's acting despite it. Are you scared? Yes. It will be a bigger mistake to do this if you weren't. Nobody feels 100% sure all the time. Not the people you admire, not the ones who look confident online. Not the ones who seem to have it all together. They just learned how to live with the noise in their head without letting it drive. And that's simply what self-doubt is. Noise. It's not prophecy, it's not truth. It's not your intuition. It's your fear wearing your voice. Speaking your voice? It's your fear speaking your voice. Because maybe someone once made you feel small. Maybe you grew up being told you weren't good enough. Maybe you failed once, and your brain latched on, locked on, to that moment and that label. like a warning. So now, every time you reach for something good, or at least try to, the voice whispers, "Be careful. Remember the last time." The way to deal with self-doubt isn't to argue with it though. It's to disprove it. Because self-doubt cannot survive evidence. It feeds on inaction. When you do nothing, it has all of the power. And when you act, even badly, even clumsily, it loses balance and it loses ground. You don't build confidence by waiting to be ready. You build it by moving on anyway. By doing the thing you're scared of. Do it uncertain. Do it shaking. And then you'll realize that you didn't die. You build it by surviving embarrassment, the awkwardness, the discomfort, and noticing that life simply went on. Life goes on. Sometimes self-doubt likes to hide under perfectionism. You keep telling yourself, "I just want to get it exactly right, to get it perfect." But really, you're just afraid you're going to get it wrong. So you keep planning, refining, tweaking, and delaying. You keep watching YouTube videos. That's not preparation. That's fear dressed up as productivity. And you dressed it up that way. If you wait until you feel confident enough to begin, you'll never begin. Confidence comes from doing it, not from thinking about it or preparing to do it. And another thing, stop comparing your behind the scenes, your own personal insights, to someone else's highlight reel. You're judging your rough draft against their final cut, their final render. And that's not a fair fight. The people you admire, they doubt themselves too. They just learned that doubt doesn't mean stop. It just means go gently. Someone once said, "The loudest critic you'll ever face lives in your own head." And my, is that true? That voice can be cruel, harsher than anyone else would ever speak to you. There is nothing anybody else can say to me that will be worse than what I already say to myself. That hits home. But you have to learn to separate your voice from their voice. One belongs to you, and the other belongs to fear. So the next time that voice says you're not good enough, ask it. Ask it for evidence. According to who? Says who? Facts. I want the facts. And watch how quickly self-doubt falls apart then. Most of the time, self-doubt isn't truth. It's just repetition. It's something you're used to. You've heard it so many times before for so long that it's now started to sound believable. But you can rewrite that. Every time a negative thought appears, replace it with something neutral and, more importantly, accurate. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," try, "I'm learning how." Instead of saying, "I always fail," try, "Sometimes I struggle, but I've succeeded before." And this isn't fake positivity. It isn't faking positivity. It's fairness. It's simply being more accurate. Leveling the playing field. And here's the part people forget. Self-doubt grows in silence. When you don't talk about it, it festers. Say it to someone. Say, "I'm scared. I'm not enough." 9 times out of 10, they'll say back, "Honestly, me too." Build a safe space for the days your confidence collapses. Somewhere you can fall apart and still feel whole. I think I mention this in every video, but it's so important. It might be your room or your notebook, your journal. A person who'll simply listen without trying to fix. Or a quiet place you can return to. your favorite stretch of beach. When you have that, doubt loses one of its sharpest edges. Your brain's job is to keep you safe, not happy. So every time you step into something new, it panics. It says, this is unfamiliar. This might hurt. That's not failure. That's evolution. The goal isn't to silence fear. It's to walk with it until it gets proved wrong. It gets bored and it quietens down. And something beautiful about it is self-doubt means you care. People who don't care don't doubt themselves. They don't think at all. Ignorance is bliss. Have you ever seen a stupid person overthink something? I doubt it. But your doubt means you want your life to matter. So, if you're doubting yourself right now, look back at something you once thought you couldn't survive. And you survived anyway. You're here. That's evidence. That's proof. That's facts. And evidence, facts, and proof will beat doubt every single time. Every time. You're allowed to question yourself. You're allowed to be scared. You're allowed to not have it all figured out. But you're not allowed to let doubt stop you from showing up. Because you never know who's watching you push through. Who might see your courage and say, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Well, I'm here to say it. If I can do it, if I can do this, then I promise you can too. Self-doubt will return because it always does. But the next time it knocks, remember, it only shows up when you're standing on the edge of something worth doing. Something worth thinking about. But don't wait for permission. Don't wait for certainty. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll be waiting forever. I heard something once. Your whole life consists of only 3 days. But you'll only ever get to live one of them. There's yesterday, and there's no getting that back. There's tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. We all know that. The only day you'll ever get to live is today. It's the whole idea of starting one day or starting day one. You're ready enough right now. And the next version of you, the one you've been scared to meet, is waiting for you. Just on the other side of self-doubt. I promise. Take the next step. Even if your voice shakes. Even if your hands tremble. Even if you're terrified. Eyes closed, head first. You only live once. Learn by doing, baby. Because courage isn't no fear. It isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward with it anyway. You've done harder things before and you'll do harder things again. You've got this. If this spoke or helped you in any way, share it with someone who you think needs to hear it, who needs that little push. Because we all doubt ourselves. But maybe the bravest thing you can do is to admit it. And keep going anyway. My name is John. You're welcome to be here. And you're more than welcome to stay here. Subscribe if you want to hear more. I really enjoyed that.